All right, folks, what is going on? Back with another video, and today we're going to talk about the original Xbox. Happy birthday, original Xbox. It just turned 21, and I'm really excited to talk about this because this is my favorite console of all time. I collect for this console. You may not see it in the background because of this bookshelf, but this bookshelf over here, I have a bunch of original Xbox games, but we're going to talk about 21 of those games that I recommend if you're into this console, and also just to celebrate the life of the original Xbox. So it all started with me with the Dreamcast, because I was a big, huge on the Dreamcast, whatever the case may be. And knowing the Dreamcast was going to be upended and not being being continued, I was like, okay, I like the PS2, but I was a big fan of the Dreamcast. But when the original Xbox came out and I found out that Sega was going to support the Xbox, I jumped over there and started, playing these games, and I fell in love with it. I love the hard drive, the broadband modem, everything about that. So I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions about this console, give you a little bit of history that added on to this, and I'm gonna give you 21 games that we're going to talk about that I recommend if you're into collecting this. The console is actually going up in price, but the games are still pretty cheap. You may find a few games that are up in the $50 to $100 range, but there's only like maybe 4 or 5. The rest of them are like dirt cheap. So we're going to get into this. First, we're going to talk about the controller, because I do have the console. Obviously, I have like 2 or 3 of them, but it's hooked up over here on my TV over here, and I didn't want to unhook it. So I got a picture of what the console looks like, and these are 2 controllers. One controller here, this controller needs no introduction. You know what this controller is. You see how huge and massive this is. This is a pretty big controller. Just for comparison's sake, this is my PS5 controller, which I just cut on my PS5. Well, this is the PS5 controller, and this is the Duke. You can see how much bigger this controller is. This controller is a beast. But I love using this controller, and for games like, let's say, NFL Fever or anything like that, this is a good controller to use. It actually fits really comfortable in my hand as well. You can see where it fits comfortable. I mean, I have fairly big hands, so it works for me. But I do like the Xbox Controller S as well. This controller was made for the Japan market, and they ended up bringing it over for the US market as well. This gives you more of like a Sony PlayStation type of feel. It's a little bit smaller on the hands, and it gives you a more diamond button layout compared to the other one. Like you can see here, this one is a more diamond layout. This one is more of a smaller diamond layout, and the black and white buttons are up here compared to this, where the black and white buttons are down here. The triggers are pretty much the same on the back, and I think the triggers are a little bit bigger on the Duke. Like everything on here is bigger with the Duke, and the starting selector in the middle on the Duke, and S has the starting button. So over here, great controllers in my opinion. A lot of people don't like the Duke, but I think this one is very comfortable as well. You can't go wrong with either one. So that's just for the controllers. Now, say if you don't want to use either one of those controllers, like say for instance, you like this controller, but you want to use a Sony PlayStation controller. Now, you can look at the difference between the two. A lot of people like the offsetting thumbsticks. I kind of tend to like them too. But you can see it's still a little bit bigger than the PS2 controller, but it has that feel that you can use it. But what if you wanted to use this controller on your original Xbox? Now, I don't know if you can find these things. This is an adapter right here where you can plug into the PS2. So it has the plug right there, and you can use your PS2 controller on a GameCube, or you can use it on an original Xbox. And I think that this is a phenomenal device. I use it sometimes depending on the game, and it works out very well. And it's a very good converter. If I can find this on Amazon or eBay, I will put the link down in the description if you're interested in something like this. I think it's made by Mayflash or something like that, or I can't remember. So there is an option if you don't want to use these controllers. I've been using this a lot in the earlier stages, but I've come to learn to and get accustomed to using this one. Now, what I want to do, I want to talk about 21 games that I feel that you guys should get if you want to excuse me, if you want to let's say collect for the console. And I don't have any of these in order, but definitely I'm going to be starting with some of the usual games. And we're just going to go from there. First and foremost, I want to talk about these two games. I know you can play these two games on the Xbox One, Xbox Series, or whatever. But Halo 1, Halo 2, these are the games for the original Xbox you can't go wrong with if you want to start collecting. These games are very, very cheap for the original Xbox, and they play very, very well on an original Xbox. I mean, you just cannot go wrong with this console. And I highly recommend it. I highly recommend, you buying either one of these two games for the most part. And what can you say? It's Halo, and it's phenomenal. Next game I want to talk about. This game is going up in price a little bit, and with the controversy with Star Wars, I highly recommend you getting this one. I think they cleaned up Star Wars a lot, but Star Wars Battlefront 2 is another one. Is a really good game. I highly recommend. This game is really good on the system. It is one of the finest Star Wars games ever been released. I'm kind of kicking myself. I kind of wish I had the original green case version, but this one don't look too bad, the Platinum Hits version. So I highly recommend that one as well. Let's see. Let's go with this one. It's another game that's pretty hard to find. Scarface. This game is one of the few games that's on the not gonna say few, but it's one of the many games on the Xbox that actually runs in 720p. So even if you have a 4K display, this will look very good on your display. And real quick before I get into that, if you want to get into playing games at a higher definition, like say 720p, or you want that raw input of 480p at the highest level, get some component cables, or you can get you some get the Kaiko HDMI cord. I will have the card up where you can get the HDMI Kaiko cable, but and I also have the link down in the description if you want some component cables. The component cables are harder to find, but the Kaiko HDMI, I highly recommend it. I did a whole video on it. I have a card up there if you want to look at that. But you will want that HDMI cord for games like this. This game runs at 720p. It's a phenomenal game. And it's kind of funny that this game hasn't been released anywhere else. But this is a really good game. You don't see too many games based off of a movie play and run as well and is that enjoyable. The next game I want to talk about, let's see. I'll keep on going with the shooters. Time Splitters 2 is another game you should get. This is a very good party game, first-person shooter. If you like Halo, this is one of the games that you may want to pick up. This one is, I think you can find this on PS2 as well, but I think it runs very well on the Xbox. Once again, 480p, very good with the triggers of the controller. Like I said, the triggers of the controller helps with this game a lot. So this is another good one to get. Let's get into some racing games real quick. Project Gotham Racing. This one, and I will talk about, let's see. I will also get into this one. These two games you can't go wrong. Now, a lot of people probably wondering, hey, why you're not talking about Project Gotham Racing 2? Well, there's a reason behind that. Now, Forza is a great game, but the problem with this game, it only runs at 30 frames. This game here, the second game, Project Gotham Racing 2, also runs at 30 frames. But this one here runs at 60. So if you want a really good, smooth, experience in racing, this one is the get. And don't get me wrong, the second one is good as well, but I love the frame rate. It's one of the reasons why this is one of the knocks I have on this game, but you can't go wrong. This game is very, very well done. one of the finest games in the Forza series. Now I know with Forza 4, and you could give a case for Forza 7 as well, but this one is really good. This is a very good entry of the genre, and you can't go wrong with Project Gotham Racing. They did all the way up to Project Gotham 4, and believe it or not, I will tell you this: they started out on the Dreamcast as Metropolis Racing, jumped over to made Project Gotham Racing, and a lot of people who did this game, they end up doing Forza Horizon. So these games, these two companies, or these games are somewhat intertwined, because these people here, they end up doing Forza Horizon once the Project Gotham Racing situation went to the wayside. Very interesting. I didn't know that. Another game I think you should get, and this game is pretty much, you can play this on Xbox Series as well if you want to, but once again, original Xbox it is, Ninja Gaiden Black. Very, very difficult game. This game is pretty cool. I like this game a lot. I still haven't completed this game, believe it or not. And I'm probably about 80% done, but this game is fairly frustrating, and you have to learn a lot to try to play this game. It will test your patience, but it's really satisfying once you get through the stages of the game. And like I said, you can play this. I think it's now you can play it at 4K on the Xbox Series or Xbox One X. It's a very good service that they have over there. Xbox has done a really good job with the backwards compatibility. And if you want this on the original Xbox, you can play it on there. It looks great on there, but it's a pretty good incentive to be able to play this on your current console. I think that's pretty neat. Let's see. Let's get into a couple of fighting games. This game has been exclusive to the Xbox, and this is a very, very good fighting game. And I'm actually surprised that a lot of people don't talk about this enough. I think you could play this on the Xbox Series as well. I think you also play this on Xbox One. Dead or Alive 3, phenomenal game. Dead or Alive 4, 5, and 6 are actually pretty good as well, but this is the one that got it started. Don't get me wrong, Dead or Alive 1 and 2 is good. Dead or Alive 1 was on the Saturn, PlayStation 1. They remade it for the Xbox. Dead or Alive 2 is a mixed bag, but I do feel Dead or Alive 2 on the Xbox is slightly better than the Dreamcast version. But this is the game that got me really into Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive 3, this is a phenomenal game. You could play this on not only, just like with Ninja Gaiden Black, not only you could play this on your original Xbox, you can play it on the 360, you could play it on the Xbox One, and you can play it on the Xbox Series. It's really amazing how Xbox has done so well with that service. Unfortunately, they're just not doing what I like for them to do as far as bringing current games to the forefront, but they do a very good job with backwards compatibility. You can't go wrong with this. Original Xbox, once again, Dead or Alive 3, and you can play this on other platforms as well. Let's see, continuing with the fighting genre. This game is in jail. This game needs to be released from jail. You cannot get this on any platform beyond the PS4. Matter of fact, you can't really get it on the PS3 because licensing issues, and it's been taken off the store. So PS3, original Xbox, not original Xbox, but Xbox 360 on up, you cannot buy this game. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a phenomenal game. I mean, what more can you say about this game? But it is locked away on consoles. You really can't play it on PC. The best thing to do is to emulate this game or buy an arcade 1-up, which is those things sold out so fast, you really can't get it. But I'm glad I was able to purchase this. I highly recommend it if you are into the Marvel vs. Capcom series. The PlayStation 2 version is very expensive. This one is going up in price. You can get this one about $100 now because of the fact that it cannot be it's not distributed anywhere anymore. Capcom and Marvel need to get together and really need to find a way to release this on a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series. This game needs to be re-released. I'm really I'm kind of disappointed that it's not been released since, because this is a great game, and I wish this game was out. This is a great game. It really is. Next game I want to talk about, two other games that are kind of like in limbo. I'm gonna put both of these up together. Capcom versus SNK 2. You can buy this on the PS3, PS3 store, but it's not the same. But I would like to see a re-release of this and this one as well. This is a black sheep of the series because you had a few. Had Capcom vs SNK1. You had the other one that came out. I think it came for the Neo Geo Pocket or something like that. I can't remember. But then you had this game here. SVC Chaos, SNK versus Capcom, is supposed to be the SNK version of Capcom versus SNK 2. Now, this game here is a great game. I have this game on Dreamcast, and I have it on Xbox. I love this game that much. Now, on the Dreamcast, it was only released on the in Japan, and I do have the PS2 Classic version of this game as well. But I feel like the game plays best on Dreamcast, but that game is starting to go up in price a little bit, especially the American version. You can get the Japanese version a little bit cheaper. This game is starting to go up a little bit on Xbox, but it's still affordable. I highly recommend it if you haven't got it. This game here, you probably could find this game for maybe 20, 15 bucks. And both games are very good fighting games. I highly recommend these games, and it's a shame that these games aren't really, out like that. Going back into the racing side of things, arcade racing made by Sega. One thing about the Xbox, it was really supported by Sega, and I think these two games are pretty much exclusive to the Xbox. That you can't get them anywhere. I want to excuse you guys for the quality of this. I need to get another case, but I have Outrun 2, phenomenal game for the Xbox. Coast to Coast, 2006 Coast to Coast is a game I have on PS2. I missed out buying that on original Xbox. Now that game is going up in price. That game is almost over $100, if not $100 already. So it really sucks. But I will say this. If you can get a hold of it, buy it. This game looks very good on the original Xbox. Most of these games look really well on the original Xbox. You can't beat these games on the original Xbox. Another game that was made by Sega, Crazy Taxi 3. I think this game is actually exclusive to the original Xbox because it says only on Xbox. And I haven't seen this game being released anywhere else. Now, I've seen Crazy Taxi 1 and 2 on the Dreamcast. Crazy Taxi is on the PS2. I think Crazy Taxi 2 is on the PS2 as well. And I think it's on GameCube. But they did come out with another game, a spiritual successor called Taxi Chaos. I got it for the PS4 over there. It's all right. But Crazy Taxi 3, I love this game. This is a really good game for the system. If you want this game, it's only on original Xbox. I'm actually surprised this has not been re-released. If it has, let me know. It may be on Steam. I doubt that as well. But I think this is the only way you could get this game on console. Original Xbox, Crazy Taxi 3. Another game by Sony, and this is one of the games that should have been talked about earlier. I really wish I would have talked about this earlier, but Shenmue 2. I can't say this right for nothing. Shenmue 2 for the original Xbox. This is a great game. Now, this game has been re-released on PC. It's been re-released on PS4, Xbox One, and you can get this game now in a collection or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, I think I have it on Xbox because I feel like this game should be an Xbox game. Unfortunately, Shenmue 3 is on a PS4, which I think that's kind of blasphemous because I feel like this is a Dreamcast Xbox type of game. But what can you do? This is another game that's starting to go up in price. I don't know if this is something that you may want to get because there's other ways of playing this game. But for collection purposes, if you want to get it, I highly recommend it. For one thing I want to show, I don't think I had the instruction manual with this. I probably misplaced it somewhere. But this is the DVD movie. And this right here is the game. So I think this is a phenomenal package. If you got it, you get to figure out what happened in the first game, because you know, a lot of things about that is Shenmue 2 was supposed to come out for the Dreamcast in America, but it never was released. So you can still get the European version, but for those who did not play that game, they give you an update on what everything is going on. I think this is a great package. I highly recommend Shenmue 2. Now, going along with more of the Sega stuff, you can play this game as well on the I think you can play this as well on Xbox One, Xbox 360, and Xbox Series. Panzer Dragoon Orta. Now, for the life of me, I don't understand why I want to play this game again. Maybe because I can play it at a higher resolution now. I think on the Xbox One X alone, you can play this at almost 4K. Just a phenomenal you know, service that they have. But another great game. This game is going up in price. This game was originally supposed to be on Dreamcast, but it's one of the games that moved over, just like Shenmue 2 moved over to the original Xbox. Great game. If you can't even get this game for the original Xbox, if you want to collect, you can play this on your Xbox One or Xbox 360. Well, really, you could purchase it on Xbox One or Xbox Series like right now. You can go ahead and get that, and I highly recommend it. Great game, great game, great game. And I'm surprised that Sega really hasn't gone further with this series, to be honest, because this game is beloved by a lot of people. And I know you still have Panzer Dragoon Saga out there, which I don't think that'll ever be re-released. You could probably play that on emulators, which that is a whole RPG. It's not like this type of game. But for Xbox to actually put this out where you could play this on modern consoles is great. It is phenomenal. Only on Xbox, you only could get it there. If you want to play it on original Xbox, it looks great. But if you want to play it on, you know, the other consoles, that's even better, in my opinion, because of the resolution. Now, one more game I get into before we're gonna get into the more sportsy stuff. Give you my recommendations on the sports games because I do love playing sports. I want to talk about this racing game I should have talked about earlier, Rally Sport Challenge. Phenomenal rally game. Now, you could play Colin Rally 4, you could play V Rally 3. There's a couple other rally games you could play on original Xbox, but this game right here is only on original Xbox. And this game plays very well for what it's worth. Now, the first one's not bad either, but I think the second one is pretty cool. And the XSN Sports label always gave out quality type of games. Now, I probably will do a video on just the XSN titles somewhere down the road because those games are highly underrated. And I kind of wish they never fell off, but that's a whole nother story for another day. But XSN, their stamp of approval always came out with quality games. And I highly recommend this one as well. This game is probably pretty cheap. You probably get this for no more than $4 or $5 nowadays. Now, let's get into the sports titles. I want to talk about basketball first. This is probably the best arcade game of all time. I know NBA Jam on the 360 is nice. I do understand there's other NBA Streets out there that are okay. I do understand those. But nothing is like NBA Street Volume 2. This game is great. I know the controls on this game is a little bit wonky. They're not as good as the PS2 game because of the controls are more ideal. But if you get the controls down on this, you can do moves and play just as smooth. This game right here, for the most part, looks much better on the original Xbox than the PlayStation 2 version, but the PlayStation 2 has the controls. You can't go wrong with either one. I suspect this game to be able to probably run about the $20, maybe $15 mark now. I bought this game at the time for $2.99. I did buy the game originally on PS2 at $49, but I want to start collecting for the original Xbox, and when I found this for $2.99, it was a steal. And that just goes with what I say with all these other games. You could get a lot of these games for around $2 to $5. So it's really good to get into this collecting of this console. Very, very good console. Once again, highly recommend this. Buy this. Even if you get it on PS2, buy it. Great basketball game. Now, this football game needs no introduction. If you play it on the original Xbox, you know what time it is. Even on PS2, a lot of people know about this game, and this game is very, very is very, very popular to a lot of people. Some people still think it's a Madden killer to this day. I love the game. I'm not going to go as far as say it's a Madden killer, but this is one hell of a football game. NFL 2K5 for the original Xbox. This game for the original Xbox is the one to get. First of all, you get higher resolution. The game looks better. The bells and whistles because of the hard drive, the halftime show, weekly show, all the other good cut scenes and everything. They flow and they're not static. You can get the flow of the game with the PS2 if you get a hard drive, but you gotta buy a hard drive. This console came with the hard drive, and this game is just great for this console. It's like they go hand in hand. Highly recommend it. Everybody should have played this by now, but if you're collecting for the system, this is the football game to get. I understand there's NFL fever out there, but I think this is the game to get. Now, what if you don't want NFL 2K5? What if you want a game from EA Sports on the original Xbox? Because don't get me wrong, original Xbox PS2 Madden was actually pretty good. These are the two games I recommend. NCAA 08 and Madden 08. These two games are intertwined, and I'll talk about that in a second. First of all, the gameplay on these games aren't that bad. The gameplay on these games are really, really good. And I still play these games to this day, just like I play NFL 2K5 mostly. Play that pretty good, pretty much as well. The problem with NFL 2K5, they don't have a college counterpart. And when I say these games are intertwined, this is what I mean. The players on this game, if you play a dynasty mode, a franchise mode or whatever, if you play with the players on this game and the ones who graduate and leave college, you can put those players on this game onto this game, and you can follow their NFL career. I still do that to this day. I've created, fictional storylines within my dynasty on both of these games, and it is a phenomenal way to go. Now, it's not just exclusive to this. You can get any of the NCAAs from the PS2 era that has a corresponding NCAA game. I think it could have started in 2003 or 2004. I want to say that. I know it did in 2004. You could take the draft classes from this game, and move them over to this game and follow their careers. So it is like having two games in one. Now, for both of these games, they're slightly going up in price a little bit, probably $10 a piece. But I feel like if you could pay $10 for both of these games, it's well worth it. And besides, you won't be dealing with all the wonkiness in the latest Madden where their franchise modes are not the best. So that's going to conclude all the 21 games I have for original Xbox birthday celebration. But I do have two games I want to talk about that give honorable mention. And actually it's 4 games, but who's counting? The first one I will say get is Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. Now, why would I say get this? Now, I know both of these games are out now on various or newer consoles. You can get Third Strike and Hyper Street Fighter 2, the Anniversary Edition. This game is now just been released on the PS4, a part of the Capcom Fighting Collection, I think now. And Third Strike, you can get that on the 30th, I think it's the 30th or 35th, and I think it's the 30th anniversary. Now, mind you, this is the 15th anniversary collection. And 15 years later, they put out Third Strike. This is probably one of the best ways to play Third Strike outside of the PS3 version that I'm not sure. I think it's discontinued. If not, go buy that version right now on your PS3. That version of Third Strike is amazing. Hyper Street Fighter 2, you can't go wrong. I think you could get the collection version that's just been released on Capcom Fighting Collection. You can't go wrong with that. But for original Xbox, this is an honorable mention. I highly recommend getting this one as well. Really good game. Really good game, and they play very smooth. One thing about Third Strike, this game was built from the ground up from the Dreamcast version, not like the Dreamcast version. So it's a pretty unique build of the game. So I highly recommend it. Now, last but not least, if you see behind me, you already know what time it is. If you see the poster behind me, you know what it is. Now, you see Vice City, Stories, Liberty City Stories, and GTA 4. But over here on this wall, I got GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. These are my favorite games of all time. Pretty much they are. If you can find this, buy it. I'm dead serious about this. If you can find this game, buy it. Or this trilogy, buy it. This trilogy is not like the definitive edition. This one is much better. One thing I forgot to talk about on the original Xbox, if you put your own CDs, or in nowadays you can put your MP3s in with an adapter, you can listen to your music while you ride around in this game. In these games, all three of them. You can play GTA 3, you can play Vice City, and you can play San Andreas. I bought this for the PS2. I still have it for the PS2 up there. But it's something special about the original Xbox version. This right here, I've seen this go up to almost $90. They may went down a little bit because the definitive edition is out. But with all the bugs of the definitive edition, I think this is still the way to go. You can play this trilogy on your Xbox 360 for higher resolution and a better gameplay experience. The problem with that is you will lose the ability to customize your own soundtracks while you're driving around. So you can do a soundtrack, but it's not the same as it is on original Xbox. This game, this collection has a sentimental value to me because this was the first game I've played where I felt like this was an entire new experience. Yes, I've been playing video games since the 80s. I've been, around for the Street Fighters, the Mega Man X's, the F-Zeros, the Sonic the Hedgehog, the Streets of Rage, Final Fight. I mean, the list goes on and on. Loaded on the PS1, Panzer Dragoon for the Saturn, Virtua Fighter 2, all the Maddens that came out, the NBA Jams. I've been through all those great, phenomenal games. But this when GTA 3 first came out, that game was the game that I felt like it was a total different experience. And this trilogy, not only just with GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, I keep getting it backwards. These three games solidified the reason why I was proud to be a gamer. Now I know it has all the problems in it, as far as violence and this, that, and third, but it's not for everybody. But I feel like you can find something in this game for you, in these games for you, whether it be bowling, whether it be playing basketball, whether it be racing, whether it be, robberies. You can rob people, all the nefarious things you can do. They're in these set of games, and I'm thankful that Rockstar came out with these three games, and this trilogy is phenomenal. If you're going to pick up any games for the original Xbox, I do recommend obviously Halo, Forza. I do recommend pretty much every game in this stack. But honestly, this one comes to the top of the list. This goes to the top of the list for all the games, not the sports titles or anything like that. You could play those sports titles elsewhere. You could play this elsewhere. But even to this day, with the problems with the definitive edition, this is still the best version, the best way to play these three games, in my opinion. Hands down, point blank period. These are the best ways to play these games. The definitive edition dropped the ball. The PS2 version doesn't look as great. I think San Andreas does have the atmosphere a little bit better, but the graphics looks not as clean as this, and the games just look a little bit more colorful. So I highly recommend that. If you like this video, please let me know. This was a lengthy one, but I love to celebrate the original Xbox. It is my favorite console. There's much more I can get into with the original Xbox, which I probably will do sometime down the road. I'm definitely going to talk about those sports titles that was exclusive to the Xbox because I am a sports gamer at heart. Also, there's other games that I may want to talk about as well. Hopefully we'll get to that down the road. I may get into that a little bit sooner than later because this was fun to make. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. If you want to hit the like button, thank you. Share this share this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm going to get out of here, and I'm actually going to play some original Xbox games right now. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Thanks once again. Peace.